This might be the weakest PlayStation Plus update we've seen in months, especially if you're a premium subscriber, and I know a lot of you are because that's how you're streaming your games on your PlayStation Portal. But honestly, it's starting to feel like Sony has no idea what to do with the premium tier anymore. Just one classic game this month, no PS1 games, no PSP games, barely anything to justify the higher price tag, let's be honest. So has Sony run out of ideas when it comes to premium? Is this still worth paying for? Well, let's look at this month, what's coming to the service. We'll break it all down from the full list of extra and premium games coming soon to the new PlayStation app Sony just dropped out of nowhere, and what all this means for cloud gaming on the portal. First up, the extra tier, which is where most of the new cloud streamable games come from. The headline this month is definitely WWE 2K25. As a former WWF fan back in the Attitude Era, when it was really good, I've got a soft spot for this series. There's a new showcase mode that focuses on the bloodline and this, the new, is it My Career mode, I think they call it, or My Story mode. I'll be testing this one heavily once it goes live. Expect me to be playing plenty of Hell in a Cell matches, Elimination Chamber matches, any hardcore matches, any gimmick matches. That's what I love. The more blood and guts, the better. We'll get Cody Rhodes fighting Roman Reigns in a no-holds-barred match. That'll be good. But outside of that, it's a mixed bag. You've got Persona 5 Tactica, which is a strategy spin-off that may or may not appeal, depending on your love for Persona. Personally, I prefer the mainline games, but I'll give it a shot for the art style alone. Now, outside of WWE 2K25 and Persona 5 Tactics, the rest of this month's PS Plus extra lineup is made up of smaller or more niche titles, but honestly, some of these look a lot better than I expected, so let's break them all down quickly here individually. First up, we've got Fate Samurai Remnant. If you're a fan of the Fate series or anime-style action RPGs, this one might surprise you. It's set in the Edo period Japan and blends flashy real-time combat with familiar characters from across the Fate universe. The visuals are crisp, the world feels rich with detail, and there's solid sense of spectacle in the fights in this game. It's not the kind of game we usually see on PS Plus, but I think fans of games like Scarlet Nexus or Tales Arise might want to give this a look. Next up is The Invincible, which is a first-person narrative game based on a classic sci-fi novel, and it's all about exploration, mystery, and unraveling what went wrong on a distant planet. There's no combat here, it's slow, deliberate, and driven by tension and discovery. Retro survival horror fans, this one's for you. This just screams like OG Resident Evil to me. Crow Country wears its PlayStation 1 influences proudly. From the fixed camera angles to the grainy visuals and the eerie setting, and just look at the HUD, I mean, that is just PS1. It feels like a spiritual cousin to, the original Resident Evil, but with slightly more accessible modern twist. If you love your OG horror games, make sure you check this one out, as we will be doing when they all drop in the update. Conscript is a pixel art survival horror game set during World War I. Looks very dark and grim, this one. That alone makes it stand out, I guess, this month, and you play as a French soldier searching for his brother in the trenches of Verdun. Navigating narrow corridors, limited resources, and relentless enemies, it looks a pretty claustrophobic, atmospheric, and scary looking indie title. Then you've got Green Hell, which is a gritty survival sim set in the Amazon, complete with co-op. And while it looks great on a TV, I'm curious to see how this translates to the portal, if it plays well on the smaller screen, but I'm curious to check it out. Games like this can struggle with legibility of, text and stuff like that on the smaller handheld screen, but we will see what it's like when we get our hands on it. And if you're on premium, well, brace yourself, people. Legacy of Kain Defiance is the only new classic this month. Like, what is going on? That's it. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to see more of the Legacy of Kain series getting a run out, but one PS2 era game being added when the PS1 and PSP have libraries that are massive with so many classics missing, it's honestly kind of a bad look for premium. And the reason I said PS1 in particular there is it stings even more because this week is the 30th anniversary of PlayStation's original North American and European launch. If there was ever a time to drop a batch of classic PS1 games, it was now. Big miss there, Sony. Just imagine if they added, just for me, I'd love Final Fantasy VII, I know it was there, but they took it out. Tekken 3, Wipeout, Soul Blade, or even something like Destruction Derby. You know, these fun games that helped put PlayStation on the map. Or, you know what I would absolutely love to play? Die Hard Trilogy. I played that game so much back in the day. Switching between the third-person shooter in Die Hard 1 when you're in Nakatomi Plaza, then the light gun style rail shooter for Die Hard 2, and then the crazy taxi chaos of Die Hard with a Vengeance that was from. Oh geez, just amazing, janky arcade fun. That is what we need to be added to the PlayStation Plus premium service, please, Sony. Instead, we got one PS2 game and nothing else. Premium subscribers deserve more than this. Way more. Sony really needs to speed things up here with premium, as it's starting to feel like an afterthought lately. And also with premium being tied to the cloud streaming beta, how long are we going to be in beta for? I thought we'd be out it by now. That's been a long time the portal's been out. It's been over 2 years now. And I'm pretty sure the cloud streaming's been about for over a year now on the portal. What is going on with that? Has Sony got cold feet the way they tend to do with, you know, supplementary devices outside of the PlayStation console? We've seen it happen with the Vita. We've seen it happen with PSVR 1 and 2. Oh, shiny, shiny. And then they kind of forget about it. Fingers crossed it's not happened here. I don't think it has happened here. But my worry is there's definitely a focus internally now in Sony on the PlayStation 6 and this rumoured PlayStation 6 handheld, which we'll talk about at the end. So, is that what they're focusing on now? And the portal is just kind of floating about here? Surely, I mean, they need to get this thing out of beta. They need to let us play, you know, our own digital library on the portal. That would be freaking awesome. There's a whole bunch of other stuff they need to do, but let me know if you'd like me to do a separate video on that. I'd love to talk more about that, break it all down, what we'd love to see for the future of the PlayStation Portal, especially as we head into the end of 2025. It'd be really good to get some of these things launched before Christmas time, when surely even more people are going to get their hands on the Portal. On a happier note though, who was there back in the day when the PlayStation 1 originally launched all those 30 years ago? And what was your first ever game you got for your PlayStation? Let me know in the comments. I didn't get mine at launch. I got mine a little bit later on. And I'm trying to think the first game. I think the first game I ever got was actually Tekken, and it was in the platinum range. That's why I got it, because it was like one of the cheaper games. You know, money was tight back then. I was getting a PlayStation. Obviously, I wanted to get some games. And then I'm pretty sure that was the one my parents let me get, was Tekken. And it was Tekken 1, and I loved it. That's why Tekken it probably is my favourite fighting game ever, because of that. I got so into it. And then Tekken 2, Tekken 3, that's why I called that out earlier. I'd love that to be added to the PlayStation premium library, because that is just peak Tekken for me. It's one of the best fighting games of all time, and one of the best games on PS1. So yeah, let me know when you got yours and what the first game you got was. I'm pretty sure mine was Tekken. I have a feeling Crash Bandicoot was there, but as if we took it back and then I got Tekken instead. But Tekken is my answer. I love that game. I love the PlayStation 1. I think it is probably the best console of all time. A lot of you will say PS2, and I get that, but for me, the PS1 was just wow. It was so groundbreaking, going from, you know, Sega before that. I didn't even have the 32-bit console. I didn't have the Mega Drive. I had the Master System. That was like, they kept that out on sale when the Mega Drive was out. It was a cheaper one, so I got the Master System. So I went from, was that 8-bit? That was 8-bit, I think, up to, you know, 32-bit on the PlayStation console. I missed out the whole 16-bit generation with the Mega Drive and stuff like that. It was just mind-blowing. What an amazing machine, and it's just started all this off. And now we're approaching going into PlayStation 6 generation in the next couple of years. Wow, it is wild. Now, just quickly, if you missed it, the PlayStation Plus Essential games for September are already live, and they're actually stronger than what Extra and Premium are offering this month. So you've got Psychonauts 2, which is a brilliant platformer with mind-bending levels and real emotional depth. Like, tackles some kind of mental health issues, this one. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but it is an awesome game. Definitely check it out. Then you've got Stardew Valley. what do I need to say? It's the ultimate cozy farming game. Still addictive after all these years. If you've not played it or if you've been looking to get your hands on it, add it to your library now before it disappears. Remember, there'll be new games coming next month. And then we've got Viewfinder, which is a PS5 native puzzle game where your photos become reality. Kind of creative, clever, and visually unique game. I already broke these down in my blog, which I'll leave a link to in the description and the pinned comments. So check that out if you want the full lowdown. But Psychonauts 2 is my personal pick this month. It's funny, smart, and way more thoughtful than you'd expect. One more thing. Doing a Steve Jobs moment there on Apple. By the way, I know this has nothing to do with it, but did you see those new iPhones that launched? The iPhone Pro Max? And how ugly is that? Oh, anyways, speaking of phones, Sony also just launched a new PlayStation Family app for iOS and Android. It's designed to help parents manage their kids' playtime, set spending limits, and approve extra gaming sessions from your phone, so you can block them from buying V-Bucks on Fortnite. Bliss. You'll get real-time notifications when a child logs on to a game, and there are new ways to monitor what they're playing and for how long. If you've got younger gamers in the house and want to keep tabs on how their PlayStation's being used, it's well worth a look. But remember, this is not a substitute for talking to your kids. Keep chatting to them, see what they're up to, take an interest in their games, and you'll be well clued up anyway. This app is just an extra tool for you to use. So yeah, it's a weird one this month. Not terrible, but definitely not the cloud update we were hoping for. But if you're feeling let down by the current PlayStation Plus drop, here's something that might get your hype back up. Sony is reportedly working on a brand new handheld. This one might even actually be the PSP 2 or the Vita 2 that we have been dreaming of. Leaked specs, price, and what could finally go toe-to-toe with the Switch 2. Tap here and I'll break it all down for you.